A very good morning, everyone. Today we'll start a new chapter, that is periodic classification of elements. In periodic classification of elements, we'll come to know how to classify the elements into different groups and different periods, how to organize the elements in a small groups in a small periods, and how to organize different elements in different places, how you can give a place in the periodic table of each element. Like in a shop or in home also, we can see that we are keeping groceries somewhere else, we are keeping vegetables somewhere else, we are keeping clothes somewhere else. So that means every place are confined for some different types of things. Like this, elements are classified into different types, and this type of elements are confined into a particular places. For these things, many scientists are doing research, and they are coming with their conclusions. But nowadays, modern periodic table, Moseley modern periodic table, is considered as a right arrangement of the elements. So let's start today's class. In this module, we are going to study about two scientists' conclusion, that is Dobereiner and Newland. So what is a periodic table? It is a tabular display of elements organized on the basis of atomic number. So depending on atomic number, I hope you have remembered what is atomic number. So depending on the number of electrons or number of protons, that is atomic number, the elements are organized. Electronic configuration and chemical properties. Depending on three things, we can organize the elements. The table also shows four rectangular blocks. You can find out in the periodic table, modern periodic table, as there is S block, P block, and D blocks element. In general, within one row, that is, rows are period and columns are groups. So, in general, within one row, the elements are metals on the left hand side and non metals on the right hand side. If you go through the periodic table, you will see that on the left hand side, maximum metals are located, and on the right hand side, maximum non metals are located or placed. The rows of the table are called periods and columns are called groups. So, why we need to classify the elements? So, in NCERT also you will find out that why we need to classify the elements. We can make it like in a haphazard way. We can keep them in haphazard way, right? So, how we can organize? In class 9, we have seen that matter around us is present in the form of elements, compounds, and mixture, and the elements contain atoms of only one type. We know that elements like hydrogen, nitrogen contains only one kind of atom. Do you know how many elements are known till date? At present, 114 elements are known to us. Around the year 1800, only 30 elements were known. All these had seemingly different properties. So, these 30 elements have different properties. As different elements were being discovered, scientists gathered more and more information. So, when the elements are getting discovered day by day, the scientists are trying to gather more and more information about the properties of each elements. They found it difficult to organize all that was known about the element. So they are depending on their chemical properties, electronic configurations, atomic number, they are trying to organize all the elements. They started to look for some pattern in their properties. So they are trying to find out any similarities in their properties. They are following any pattern in their chemical properties. They are initially finding that if there is a similar pattern, we'll place all those metal in a same place or same group or same period, like this, on the basis of which they could study such a large number of elements with ease. So in the year of 1800, only 30 elements were known. Now 114 elements we know. So it became difficult for a scientist to remember all the properties of each element. So that's why those elements which have the similar properties, we should keep in a same place. Then we can say this column metals have the same properties. So we cannot individually cannot mention. We do not need to mention if we classify them properly. Many scientists tried to classify elements based on different criteria. Different criteria means atomic number, electronic configuration, and sometimes chemical properties. Some brought success while some did not, as we will see in further slides. So, everyone trying to conclude something, trying to make something, but they have some achievements, they have some limitations, but ultimately in the present day we are considered mostly modern periodic table as a proper arrangement of the elements. So if we need to, if all the elements are making in a haphazard manner, it will create a chaos. So why, that's why we should make a order of the elements. So, in the living things also you have seen, the diversity of living beings also you have seen. Also, the animals are classified into different phylum in the different groups. So, like this, depending on their characteristics, like in amphibia, frog is there, and many animals are there who can stay in the land and water also. In Animalia is a big kingdom. In Animalia, many amphibians, Pisces, arthropoda, so all are there. In the arthropoda, under the arthropoda, many animals are there. So depending on their characteristics, we have isolated them. Even in other situations, we come across instances of organization based on some properties. So we have come across of organization based on some properties. For example, in a shop, shops are kept together at one place. We have seen in a shop, shopkeeper arrange all the things in a proper manner. Otherwise, he could not find when the customer will come. So shops are kept in some place. Bathing shops are stacked somehow else in some other place. Like washing shops are kept in another place. Similarly, scientists made several attempts to classify elements according to their properties and obtain an orderly arrangement out of chaos. So, they have obtained an orderly arrangement out of this chaos. The earliest attempt to classify the elements resulted in the grouping the known elements as metals and non-metals. So initially the elements are grouped into two types, metals and non-metals. Later further classification were tried out as our knowledge of elements and their properties increased. So imagine you and your friends have found pieces of an old map. We are making jumble, we are buying jumble games, na? So like these maps we have get in a jumble manner to reach a treasure. Would it be easy or chaotic to find the way to the treasure? Similar chaos was there in chemistry as elements were known, but there was no clue as to how to classify and study about them. We know there are elements, but how we can study about them, that we don't know. So for making the map properly, we should arrange the jumbles, then we can find out the treasure. So among all the scientists, Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner first come to try that how could we classify the elements. So Dobereiner law of triads was the first attempt. And the second step was Newland's law of octaves. Third one is Mendeleev's periodic law. And fourth one is Moseley modern periodic law. So these are the stepwise development of periodic table. So Johann Wolfgang Dobereiner, a German chemist, in the year of 1870 tried to arrange the elements with similar properties into groups. So they are trying to arrange the similar properties into groups. He identified some groups having 3 elements each. So some groups he has identified. In each group there are 3 elements. He has identified. Don't confuse with the modern periodic table. He called these groups triads as they contain 3 elements. Dobereiner showed that when the 3 elements in a group are present, they are used written in the order of increasing their atomic masses. So in the group, in the periodic table also you see in the order of increasing atomic number they are arranging them in modern periodic table. But in Dobereiner triad you will see these 3 elements are increasing atomic order of increasing atomic masses. You will find that atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic masses of other two elements. If you calculate the average of first and third element, average of atomic masses of first and third element, you will get the atomic mass of the middle element. So he showed that when three elements in a triad were written in order of increasing atomic masses, the atomic mass of the middle element is the average atomic masses of the first and third elements. So he classified elements in groups of three called triads based on similarities in properties, and that the atomic mass of the middle member of the triad was approximately average of the atomic masses of first and the last element. One example is given, that is lithium, sodium, potassium. Lithium has atomic mass 7 AU. In NCERT you will find that 6.9. Potassium having 39. So 6.9 plus 39 divided by 2, you will get the value 23. What is the average atomic mass of lithium and potassium? You will get 23. So it will come equal to the atomic mass of sodium. So what is the limitation? Limitation is that Dobereiner could find only the three such triads in the increasing order of atomic mass at that time. This system of classification was not found to be very much useful. You can see the other example of Dobereiner triad like calcium, strontium, barium. Calcium has the atomic mass 40.1, barium has the atomic mass 137.3. When you will calculate the average atomic masses of both the elements, you will get the atomic mass of strontium near about approximately it is equal to the 87.6. In NCERT also given the values. You can check this one. Now in the group C elements, which contain chlorine, bromine, iodine. Chlorine has the atomic mass 35.5, iodine has the atomic mass 126.9. If you will calculate the average of these two atomic masses, you will get the value which is approximately equal to the atomic mass of bromine. So you will find that groups B and C actually form the triad. So if you will consider this as a group A, in NCERT you will get this. If you will consider this as a group A, this is group B and this is group C. Actually, you will find that only group B and group C form Dobereiner triad. Dobereiner could identify only three triads from the elements known at that time. Hence, this system of classification into triads was not found to be useful. Okay. So many of them are not exactly equal to it. That's why it is not proper. So what is the limitation? It failed to arrange all the known elements in the form of triads. So all the elements at that time were known to us. He has not arranged all the elements in the triad having similar chemical properties. Dobereiner could identify only three triads from the elements known at that time. Only he has identified three elements which are known to us at that time. Hence, this system of classification was not found to be useful. So, Dobereiner studied as pharmacist at Muchenberg in Germany and then studied chemistry at Strasbourg. Eventually, he became a professor of chemistry and pharmacy at the University of Jena. Dobereiner made the first observation on platinum as a catalyst. Platinum is a catalyst, we know. He has first observed that and discovered similar triads of elements which led to the development of periodic table of elements. So he has started to think about this idea. After his thinking, many people have came and they are trying to improve it. Now another scientist has came, that is Newland. John Newlands in 1863 he suggested that elements can be arranged in octaves. You know that in music there is octaves are there. That is sa re ga ma pa. He suggested that elements to be arranged in octaves because he noticed after arranging the elements in order of increasing atomic masses that certain properties repeated every eighth element. So first element and the if you'll count the eighth element from the first element, you will see the properties of first element and eighth element is equal. And sa re ga ma pa dha ni. So these are eight notes of music. At the each eighth element, you will see the properties are same. First element and the eighth element properties are same. The attempts of Dobereiner encouraged other chemists to correlate with the classification of elements. Like we are classifying animals, plants, like that, we need to classify the elements. But they are arranging the elements in the order of increasing atomic masses, not in atomic number. But in 1866, John Newlands, an English scientist, arranged the known elements in the order of increasing atomic masses. He started with the element having the lowest atomic mass. So lowest atomic mass is hydrogen having. He found that every eighth element had the properties similar to the first. So he has arranged up to thorium. Thorium is the 56th element. He compared this to the octaves found in a music. Therefore, he called it the law of octaves. It is known as Newland's law of octave. In Newland's octave, the properties of lithium, if you will see the table, you can see. Suppose second element is lithium. So the properties of lithium is similar to the count the eighth element. It is sodium. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So eighth element is sodium. So lithium and sodium have the possessing the similar chemical properties. Sodium is the eighth element after the lithium. Similarly, if you will consider beryllium is the first element if I will consider. Then eighth element is magnesium. So beryllium and magnesium resemble each other. So it is a part of the original form of Newland octave which is given here. But it has many demerits. So in 1866, John Newlands arranged the known elements in the order of increasing atomic masses. He has started from hydrogen and ends with the thorium. He found that every eighth element had similar properties of the first, just like notes of music, octaves. So, what is the exact law? If in question they will ask that what is Newland law of octaves? What you will write? When elements are arranged in the order of increasing atomic masses, the properties of every eighth element were similar to the first element, similar to that of the first. So, in the Indian system of music, there are seven musical notes in scale. You know, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni. Again, sa will come. In the Western, they use the notation do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. These all are given in NCERT. The notes in a scale are separated by whole and half step frequency interval of tones and semitones. Tones you have read in the sound. The quality of the sound. A musician uses these notes for composing the music of a song. Naturally, there must be some repetition of notes. After ni, there is again sa will come. Every eighth note is similar to the first one. So, if you listen the music, you will see that every eighth note is listen. Every eighth note is similar to the first note, and it is first note of the next scale. So, when you will start again sa, then it will repeat it. Now, what is his limitation? He law of octaves were only applicable up to calcium. From the thorium, from after calcium, there is chromium, titanium, manganese. These are not showing similar properties with its first element. So after calcium, every eighth element did not possess properties similar to the first. It was the first demerit. He was assumed that Newland was assumed that only 56 elements exist in nature. But afterwards several new elements discovered, but he has not kept any place to place the newly discovered element in his table, whose properties did not fit into the Newland's law of octave also. If we put into the Newland's law of octave, there will not going, we are getting any similar properties between first and eighth element. In order to fit elements into this table, Newland adjusted two elements in the same slot. If you will see the slot, you will see that cobalt and nickel is placed in the same position. So this cobalt and nickel may not be similar. So the unlike elements under the same note he has put. Can you find some example from this table? Note that cobalt and nickel are in same slot and placed in the same column of fluorine, hydrogen, chlorine, bromine, which are halogen, which have the halogen properties. So cobalt and nickel cannot be placed with the halogen. They cannot stay in the same column with the halogens. So they should placed in far away from this element. So these things are there. These are the limitation of his law. So the Newland law of octaves work well with lighter elements only. So this law only worked well with the lighter elements, hence it was not applicable with elements having atomic mass above 40 unit. So it is the Newland's law of octaves. He has kept cobalt and nickel in same place, but along with cobalt and nickel there is hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, palladium, iodine, platinum, all are there. So it is the having the limitation. It is the NCERT one. So limitation of Newland's law of octave, and what is Newland's law of octave, that is important. So these are the limitation. It is applicable only till calcium. After calcium, every eighth element did not possess same properties of its first element. Newland assumed that only 56 elements exist, but afterward many elements were discovered. But he has not assigned any place for them. In order to fit the elements into his table, he fit elements like cobalt and nickel under the same slot, along with the halogens like fluorine, chlorine, bromine, which have totally different properties from the cobalt and nickel. Iron, which resembles cobalt and nickel, but it has kept far away from them. So it is the limitation. So from your textbook, so example of Dovaraina triads are given. Here the Dovaraina triad law is given. The middle element had the same properties of the rest of the two. Such groups of elements are called Dovaraina triad. Alkali metal group, lithium, sodium, potassium are alkali metal group. They have similar chemical properties and they are forming a triad. So if you will take the average of the lithium and potassium, you will get the atomic mass of sodium. Similarities in chemical properties. So lithium, sodium, potassium all are metals. They all react with water to form alkaline solution, liberating hydrogen gas like lithium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide. They all have valency 1. Their carbonates are resistant to thermal decomposition. Thus, lithium, sodium, potassium are member of alkali metal group. They are all called alkali metals because they are forming alkalis when they are dissolved in water. Next element he has taken in his triad, that is calcium, strontium, barium. If you take out the average of calcium and barium atomic masses, you will get approximately the atomic mass of strontium, that is 88. You will get the value 88.5. In NCERT, you will get the atomic mass of strontium, that is 87.6. So you will see that Similarities in the chemical properties: calcium, strontium, barium, all are metals. The oxide of all these metals react with water and forming alkaline solution like calcium hydroxide, barium hydroxide. They all have the valency 2, calcium 2 plus, strontium 2 plus, barium 2 plus. Their hydroxides are resistant to thermal decomposition. Calcium, barium, and strontium are the members of alkaline earth metal group. So they are called alkaline earth metal groups because they are found in the earth crust. And they are called alkaline earth metals since their hydroxides are alkaline in nature and they are found on the earth. So that's why they are called alkali earth metal. Next, halogen group. Halogen group are chlorine, bromine, iodine. If we'll calculate the average atomic masses of chlorine and iodine, you will get the atomic mass of bromine. At least somehow approximate value you will get. So you will find the similarities. They are all non-metals. They are halogens. When they are reacting with water, they are forming acids like hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid, hydrofluoric acid. They all have a valency 1. They all react with alkali metals to form neutral salts like sodium chloride, sodium bromide, sodium iodide. So this is the table of the Dobereiner triad. Chlorine, bromine, iodine are the members of the halogen group. They are called halogens. Since they are salt producing, halo means salt and gens mean producing. Dobereiner triads are not confined only to the elements of the same group. They can be members of different too. Like lithium, beryllium and boron if you will consider, they also are forming a triad. Note that elements of this triad do not exhibit similarities in chemical properties. So if you see the properties of lithium, beryllium, boron, they don't have any similar properties. Note that lithium and beryllium are metals but boron is a non-metal. Lithium exhibits valency of 1 but beryllium has valency 2 and boron exhibits valency of 3. Lithium chloride is ionic but barium chloride, boron chloride are covalent compound. Although nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic exhibit similar chemical properties, they do not have they do not form the triad because their atomic, if you will calculate the average atomic mass of um, phosphorus and nitrogen and arsenic, you will not get the atomic mass of phosphorus. So that's why they do not constitute a Dobereiner triad. Now Newland's law of octave. So it was observed that Dobereiner classification was not applicable to all known elements. It is a limitation already we have told, but was limited to only few elements. Hence it was abandoned, but credit goes to Dobereiner since it was the first attempt to classify the elements. So he has taken the risk to classify the elements before everyone. Now next Newland was came and he was trying to improve his table, Dobereiner triad. How he is attempting to classify the elements. After the discovery of Dobereiner triad, he has found the relationship of atomic masses between different elements. So there should be some relationship between atomic masses of elements exist. So first landmark attempt as a forerunner of modern periodic classification was the arrangement proposed by an English chemist John Newlands in 1864, who was also a lover of music. His law of octave states that when elements are arranged in the order of increasing atomic masses, the physical and chemical properties of every eighth element is are repetition of the first element. So first element and the eighth element have the similar properties. He divided the elements in the order of increasing atomic mass. So in this table you can see that they are arranged in the increasing order of atomic masses up to 56th element, which is thorium. It is seen from the above table that the eighth element starting from lithium is sodium. So if we'll consider lithium, which is considered as the first element, you will see the properties of the eighth element. If we'll count from lithium, it is sodium, and they both of them have the similar properties. Similarly, eighth element starting from fluorine is chlorine, which exhibits similar properties. The above train has similarity with musical scale, which is known as diatonic scale, in which eighth note resembles as the first note. So sa will return back on the eighth note. So both are similar notes. So that's why first and eighth element have the similar properties. Since the repetition in the properties of the first and the eighth element is just like repetition of the eighth note in the octave of music, Newland's above law is called law of octaves. Although between lithium and sodium, or between nitrogen and phosphorus, there are 7 elements. Between phosphorus and arsenic, there are 13 elements. Between arsenic and antimony, there are 14 elements. And also between antimony and bismuth, there are 14 elements. So, what are their drawbacks? The law of octaves work well only for lighter elements and could not be extended to elements of atomic masses higher than calcium. So, up to calcium, it is applicable. Newlands assumed that only 56 elements exist in nature, no scope for discovery of new elements. But afterward, he has found that new elements are start to discover, but there is no place to fit the elements in his table. Newlands assigned one position to two elements. So he has kept two elements in a particular slot, but they are unlike elements. They are not consuming the properties, they are not having the similar properties, but they have kept in the same slot. Like cobalt and nickel, cesium and Newlands place cobalt and nickel in the same column with fluorine, chlorine, which are having the properties, totally different properties from cobalt and nickel. Again, you can see cobalt and nickel has the similar properties with the iron, but iron is kept somewhere else. One chemist even wondered if an equality good arrangement of elements can be obtained by alphabetizing the initials of the names of the element. The fundamental importance of Newland's law was ultimately appreciated and recognized much later by the Royal Society, London, by awarding him the Davy Medal in 1887. Although some marked inconsistencies existed in the classification in Newland's time because of inaccuracies in the atomic mass data, but at the time, what are the elements we are getting? They don't have the proper atomic masses. Afterward, we have discovered this. We now find that Newland's arrangement amounted to several horizontal series, each containing 7 elements and several vertical groups, and his arrangement has striking similarities to the Mendeleev's periodic table. So Newland was not so far from Mendeleev's periodic table. He was quite near about to the Mendeleev's periodic table. Mendeleev has taken the idea from Newland law of octave and he has made his table, right? So from here also some questions will come. So we will see it. In the next class, we will discuss the periodic table, Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay. Thank you, class.